Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of Youth Talk. Since its first conference in 1984, TED has grown into a global platform for ideas worth spreading, inspiring millions through transformative talks. Today, I'm honored to speak with the director of TEDx University of Algiers, who is bringing this spirit to our community, and his brilliant project manager after this break. Like we usually do, I'd like to start by welcoming our guests, Younes Fahlul. Hello, Younes.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. And also Noura Amri. Hi, Noura.
Hello, thank you for inviting us today.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you for coming. So would you guys like to start by introducing yourselves before we start talking about this amazing event that you're organizing?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Younes, a medical student at the Faculty of Medicine of University of Algiers, and passionate about events and all of these related things, and the director of TEDx University of Algiers.
That's amazing. What about you, Noura?
And this is Noura Amri, and I'm a journalism student. I like usually to volunteer. I like also exchange programs and something like that. And I'm here today as the project manager of TEDx University of Algiers.
Okay, so now I think most of the guys watching us have heard about TED Talks before. They know the concept, yes. But when you say TEDx University of Algiers, I think here the perspective changes. Could we maybe introduce the people watching us to this concept and what makes it different than the regular TEDx?
Yeah, so the TED conferences are some sort of conferences that are held in the United States and Canada by the TED organization. And in order to maximize the reach all over the world, they sort of created a program called TEDx, where they give licenses to individuals all over the world to organize some sort of conferences that they bring the same vibe, the same knowledge that regular TED conferences have. So TEDx University of Algiers is an independently organized event under license from TED, and it's an event where we work with the same concept of ideas worth spreading, and we bring speakers from different backgrounds to share their ideas and exchange with their communities.
Okay, great. So you went through the process of getting a license and then bringing this event to Algeria. How was that process like?
I mean, the process is it has several steps. Sometimes it gets challenging, especially with the fact that they require some norms to get it. So they require, for example, that you do have the skills needed to get that license to organize some sort of event in your community. They also have some sort of conditions regarding the people that are participating in your team, the theme that you're trying to bring, the speakers, the backgrounds. So it's some sort of a whole thing where they kind of evaluate the project, evaluate the event, and see whether they can, give you one or not. Because generally speaking, when you get a license, you're representing this organization. Right, yes. So they need to make sure that you're somebody who's worth it.
Right. Noura, you're part of this team that Younes told us about. Tell us, how did you join in? What inspired you to work on this kind of event?
Okay, first because it's the first prestigious TEDx university here in Algeria. This is the first thing. The second thing, it's like when Younes got the license and he just reached me and told me I want to see you in my team. I was like, yes, of course, why not? I want to be a part of this change-making program. This is why I joined the team. That's
amazing. Younes, could you tell us more about your team? You told me backstage that it's not exclusive to one university or two, but a lot of different students from different backgrounds are participating and are a part of your team.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that we always learn from different countries. Like when you look at the United States, you see that one of their strengths is the diversity and the multicultural society they live in. And I think this is one of the key aspects of organizing any event or successful project, is to have people from different backgrounds and different places and different universities and different fields. There are people who study medicine, who study business, who study journalism. She's doing amazing. She studies journalism and she's doing amazing. She's one of the committed people. But regarding the team, there are people from various universities, and I think each person is bringing a unique perspective, unique ideas, unique people, unique knowledge, and each person is trying to help the event the way they think it's more suitable. So I think one of the strengths of this event is that it's more diverse. It's people from all over universities, and even from different wilayas. We're having media partners in different universities, in different places, not just Algiers.
That's amazing. I mean, this kind of events shouldn't be exclusive to one wilaya or one university. So I think you guys are doing amazing by including students from all over the country. Now, when we talk about TEDx events, it usually celebrates ideas worth spreading. That's their slogan. That's what we know them as. What specific themes maybe or ideas that are you prioritizing this year? Because they usually pick business or maybe psychology, topics like that. What are you guys focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, the theme for this edition is inspiring youth for a brighter future. So it's some sort of an edition that is for youth, for young people, but it's some sort of general when talking about the theme. So the idea is that we bring speakers from different backgrounds and different fields, and each speaker is going to share one idea that he or she thinks that will resonate with these young people. So we're having, for example, a speaker who's going to talk in chemistry, somebody's going to talk in environmental friendly things, somebody's going to talk about education, another going to talk about cross-culture exchange and all these related things. So we're having speakers from different fields, but the idea is that we want them to share one idea that they believe the young people are going to benefit from.
That's actually amazing, because you specified maybe the themes that they would be speaking on, but you also gave them the freedom to share from their knowledge and their experience, which makes this whole event more special. Nora, could you talk to us as the project manager maybe? What are some of the things that you do for this event to make it happen?
Okay, yes. So basically, my role as a project manager is to supervise everything, supervise the tasks, and make sure that the event is going smooth. For example, yes, collaborating between the ER department, between the volunteering department, and making connecting with the our guests and something like this.
That's amazing. I think these kind of tasks are important, especially when you have someone overlooking everything with a huge team, so you could make sure they're coordinating and working together. Yes. Could you share more about the lineup of speakers that you told us about, and maybe their diverse backgrounds, and how did you get to choose each and every one of them? Because when you go onto the events page, you can see people who confirm maybe their presence, and you could have a general idea about them and their names. How did you pick each and every one of them?
Yeah, I mean, the speakers, like one of the goals of this edition is to have a diversity in every aspect of it. So when you look at the people attending, they're very diverse. They're from different wilayas, different nationalities are coming. And when you look at the speakers, the goal is also to include a lot of people from different backgrounds. It wasn't just about Algerians, but it was also about different nationalities who are coming in. So we're having, for example, the ambassador of the European Union who just arrived to Algeria like around 2 months ago.
Right.
And he's coming here to do one of the what promises to be one of the great talks in the TEDx scene. He's going to talk about the climate change and how Algeria can play an effective role in it, and businesses can actually make a difference. Same thing is going to be about Ariella Knight, who's the founder and CEO of American Institute. She's an American. She lived here in Algeria for a while. And she's going to talk about education, the importance of English, and how can we actually make a change in this aspect. We're going to also be having a kid, Ryan, like he was 13 years old, and he's going to be sharing some sort of a disease and syndrome that affects children and how it affects his life and how we can actually kind of prevent that from happening to other children. So the idea for the speakers is to have a diverse lineup from people from different backgrounds. So we're having different ages, like from 12 years old to 60 years old. We're also having some sort of different backgrounds in talking about the field. So it's not just only one person from one field.
So I think you have a focus on a lot of different topics. You have the environment, you have health, you have youth inspiration. So what made you choose these specific topics, especially when you're talking about the people that are going to be present? They work mainly with the youth, which is your theme for this year.
Yeah, very true. I think that like it's really important to have, like, especially for this edition, to have like one thing from every field.
Right.
So we're having like each person from each field is an expert in their field. So for example, Miss Ariella is kind of a really proficient when talking about English and education, all of this aspect. So for example, Adlan, who's one of the speakers about emotional intelligence and psychology, is one of the experts in the field with 20 years of experience. So they do really know what they're doing. They do really know their field and their ideas, and they really want to share one idea that will resonate with the young people. And I think this is super, super important to actually learn about these people who are coming from diverse backgrounds, but they share ideas that are kind of global that are going to benefit everybody.
Right. Nora, I'm sure you're part of the team who was contacting these people and maybe sending them invitations and maybe trying to get if they're open to come and participate at your event. What was the feedback like? Did they encourage the idea? Did they accept it at first? Or maybe did you have to do some convincing?
Okay, if you're talking about like generally speaking the guests, they were so welcoming because, as I said, like it's the first prestigious TEDx University of Algiers. When they hear about the organizing team, for example, it's a group of young people from different universities. They really felt so happy to be part of this event. They usually thank me to think about them as guests. If you're talking about, for example, the team, like when we reach someone to make him part of us, it's like a feeling that mixed with someone who's very ambitious, and he finally got the chance to
showcase their potential.
Yes, right. This is the thing. And of course, in a global situation, it's not just an Algerian event, but it's international events. Means that if you're gonna do, for example, a design, or if you're gonna do a speech, it's gonna go global. So this is the most important thing, and that makes our guests and our team more, how can I say?
More maybe eager to participate and start.
Yes, more engaged with us.
Engaged, right?
Yes.
That's an amazing word to use. I wanted to ask you, Yunus, did you have to stick to the original TEDx color chart, or maybe the original logo? How was that process like?
Yeah, well, regarding these TEDx events, you do not have to stick with it. So you still do have the right to actually stick with it, use the red color, the black and white color that are used in the TED conferences, but you also have the right to kind of switch and choose your visual identity alone. So one of our designers called Ibrahim, he's actually a brilliant designer and he did an amazing job. So he created some sort of new visual identity with different colors that represent the youth, represent future, represent climate change and, you know, eco-friendly things. And they did create an amazing job. And based on that, we have created all the posts in the social media pages. We're creating all the banners in it. I mean, everything's related to that visual identity. So it was all like the creation of our team, like Algerian people, who kind of create a new visual identity that is getting global.
Okay, so you took the original TEDx color chart and maybe original logo, and you made it more Algerian, you made it more young, you gave it a new energy.
Very true, exactly.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something else. When organizing an event this big, when you have big names coming in to speak on your panels, did you feel a sort of pressure to maybe choose the right people, or maybe put the right people on your team? Isn't it a lot of pressure?
It is. I mean, it is pressure to the fact that you're promising every person you meet about something amazing.
Right.
So when you go to the speakers, you're promising them to give them a really big event and really interesting audience. And when you go to the audience, you're promising them to give them a very amazing lineup of speakers.
Right.
And you're promising the hotel to have a very amazing audience and speakers, and you're promising the audience, the people who are following you on social media, to bring all of these things amazingly. So it is surely some sort of pressure, but I think
yes,
the way to handle all of this is to like how much you can handle that pressure. So I think the team, like especially Nora and I, like handled a lot of pressure regarding some people who did not receive the invitations, some people who did not want to participate, some people who had some conditions, dealing with different partners, different sponsors, maintaining that communication between them, trying to meet the deadlines in order to make sure that everything is working. So there was some sort of pressure, and there's still some sort of pressure, but I think it is some sort of manageable. Like when doing this type of events or this type of projects, it is still part of the project to actually feel pressure. Because if you don't feel pressured, then the thing you're doing is not really big or really promising to be happening.
All right, so that's a good point to look at it from. Before we talk attendees and maybe invitations, could you remind us of the date of the event and where will it be held at?
Yeah, it's going to be on November 23rd, so it's just like very few days before. And it's going to be at the Marriott Hotel in Bebzoar, like the TED international conferences and TEDx conferences around the globe.
Usually held at hotels, right?
Yeah, so they do them it's either at conference rooms, because generally speaking, like
you need a stage.
Exactly.
Right.
So we need stage, we need backups, we need for the audience, and but a lot of TEDx conferences were held at other Marriott hotels around the globe. So
Right, so you stuck to the norms.
exactly. So we did. So I mean, here in Algeria, like 99%, most of the previous TEDx conferences were either held at universities or some sort of culture palaces at different cities.
Right.
But for this one, it's going to be at the Marriott Hotel, since other editions around the globe in France, in Germany, in South
Right.
Africa, and the United States were held also at different Marriott hotels.
Right, exactly. I think even it being held at a university can maybe give it a new vibe, since it's a university special edition. But maybe that's an idea for future editions. Now, I wanted to ask you about how could we attend. I'm sure a lot of people watching us would be interested in attending the event, but I think the process to be registered has already been done, and it's been closed. So you announced it on social media, right?
Yeah, so we did like on social media. So for this edition, we were kind of limited with seats. So we did announce it pretty in advance, and we opened the selection process where people can actually fill out a form with some sort of general questions,
Right.
where we get to know those people. Like, for example, where do you envision yourself in 10 years? If you had 60 seconds to talk to the world, what are you going to say? Do you believe there is a great future for Algeria? And, you know, we were impressed by the people. Like around 200 people said, we believe Algeria has the future, which was kind of not as we expected it to be. But based on that, we kind of get some sort of an idea about each person who wants to attend, and then based on these questions and their answers, we can like select the people who are gonna come and, you know, attend that day.
Okay, let's talk selection process. How many of the people who sent in their applications were accepted, and we will be attending the event?
Okay, actually more than 200 registered in the form. Of course, when we're talking about the students, because we had like multiple forms, for example, for the guests and for the students.
Right.
And actually, because the seats are very limited,
yes.
so maybe we're gonna accept like 40 or maybe 50 if we're gonna make it at its max, because we were, as Yunus said, we were amazed with their answers, and yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I hope the ones who didn't get to attend this edition could maybe attend future editions and maybe be part of your team. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for 2025, I mean, this edition was kind of prestigious. So it was kind of, you know,
The first
closed,
one.
and exactly.
This is like the
thing.
beginning.
Yeah, very true. But
Right.
like for 2025, we're going to be having much bigger events where people can actually attend.
I mean, that's how you ensure the event stays inclusive and, you know, keeps its poise. Because when you organize big events and you have large numbers of people present, it could be harder to control.
Very true. I mean, I already attended some sort of events earlier in 2024 and 2023, and I saw how messy it can
Right.
get when you have a lot of number of people, especially when you have a team that are mostly going to work on some sort of these events for the very first time or for the second time in their lives, that they don't really know how to manage that whole crowd. So it all starts with that vibes of team that you create in your edition. So you start by trying to manage 200 people, and the next year maybe 500, and then it goes bigger
Right.
and bigger. So like the experience that your team can actually get plays a big role in it.
I'm sure it will go well for you guys, and maybe you could increase the number of your audience next year. So what strategies did you guys use when attracting big names to speak at your panels? Because it can be difficult to reach these people.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it was always used with the high quality theme, like the thing that this event isn't like any other event, because people, usually important people, receive tens and hundreds of emails and invitations to attend different events, but they kind of look for the high quality events, for the prestigious events, for the events that actually make a difference and they're different than anybody else. So from a side, it was needed to mention that this is some sort of prestigious, this is some sort of different than what you can attend.
Right.
But at the same time, it was important for us to make it that high quality. So it was some sort of coming back to the point of pressure. It was kind of pressure to actually work and making sure that this event is actually of high quality. So the people who are going to come are actually going to enjoy that, actually going to believe, oh, we did a great choice by coming to this event. Because Otherwise, they're not gonna really like it, and then we're not making a good impression with them.
Okay, so what made the original TED Talks so famous is that they are always filmed and then shared on social media. So a lot of people get to see clips maybe of the whole speech, and maybe then look for the whole TEDx talk and hear about the person speaking, and that's how it usually goes. Would we be seeing all these speeches being filmed and put on social media for people to see, especially that the seats are limited and not all of them could attend?
Of course, they're going to be filmed. Like the whole event is going to be filmed. It's going to be shared on the international YouTube TEDx channel with over 40 million subscribers all over the world. Some parts are going to be shared on social media. They're going to be shared on YouTube also, and they're also going to be shared maybe on some reportages on some TV channels. So it's going to be like all over the place, and people who did not have the chance to attend the event are going to have the chance to watch those talks.
Okay, that's amazing. So I think now I wanted to ask you guys about the biggest challenges that you faced when trying to organize an event this big.
I mean, it was challenging to find people like Nora. So it was challenging to do that.
Like, yes, selection of the team is the first thing that was challenging for us. Like to put all your trust in a team, especially when it's non-profit event. They're gonna volunteer.
They're not getting paid.
Yes, they're not getting paid. So how do we convince them that, for example, they are under pressure? They have to finish this task today. So that was our biggest challenge when it comes to the team. But I want to say that we had a great team. We didn't have a big problems with them. They were so responsible of their task and something like, which made it, instead of being a challenge, made it very easier.
And a lot of that pressure is on you, Nora, because you have to make sure they do that tasks on time, and you have to keep them motivated and be nice.
But the thing that, because we were so selective from the start,
right.
The second thing, our team is so diverse, that made us solve a lot of problems.
That's amazing. I think the way you guys picked your team is very smart, which will contribute to the success of this event. And now we've talked about the challenges. What about the rewards? How would you guys feel once the event is done? Everything went smoothly. It could be maybe a milestone for your careers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the key aspects of this event is that it's actually making a difference. Like a lot of people, if you really have a chance to look at the people who applied and the way they answer their questions, it's really like you can't believe that those people are Algerians and living with each other. So when people like outside of this event, some sort of always look at Algeria in some sort of a pessimistic way, in some sort of a negative way. We can't do anything, there's no support, no resources. But when you look at the people who are attending and you look at these initiatives and what those clubs are doing, what those people are doing, and in events like these, you actually some sort of have hope and positiveness in the country, and you actually some sort of feel it, like people are becoming positive and they're feeling that there is a difference by attending this event. So one of the key things that I believe we're going to see is that there is some sort of a positive impact on the society, there is some sort of a positive impact on the community and those students, and it's actually going to motivate. I mean, we already have some people asking us about how to get different licenses, how to organize these events. Please help us in the ER job, in the human resources job. So it's already making a difference by motivating other people to also organize some events like this. So this is one of the key rewards that we're getting from.
That's amazing. So, Nora, as a last word, anything you want to say to the people who are going to be attending the event or maybe want to be part of your team next year?
Okay, yes, of course. So first, this event will bring together more than 200 quality people. So I want to say just take the chance to network and make new friends maybe that will help you in your future. This is the first thing. The second thing, I would be so grateful if someone just at the end of the evening came and told me like, yes, I think that event changed my life and gave me a new perspective. This is actually my reward. If you want to join our team next year, yes, we're so welcoming. We just need quality people who are engaging, and that's it.
That's amazing. What about you, Yunus?
Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. The only message is that I actually received it from somebody who's really, and I consider it to be one of the people that I look up to, but he always told me do not do a victim mindset. Since you're here in Algeria, do what can actually make you successful, make you do some great things here. So for all the young people, they shouldn't be looking at just the pessimistic side or the side where they cannot do anything, but they should look into the things that they can actually do and they can actually change. Because we're not a great country, but we're not also a catastrophic country. So we can do a lot of great stuff, and we have also a lot of great opportunities.
That was beautifully put. Thank you, Yunus. Thank you guys for watching. This was another episode of Youth Talk, where we talked about TEDx University of Algiers. You can follow them on their social media pages and maybe keep up with their events. See you in another one.